In this video, you'll learn how to create multiple universe reports in WorldShare Report Designer. People also refer to this task as making cross-universe reports or merging data from different universes. Here are some examples of multiple universe reports. If you want a list of new titles received in acquisitions with a count of the number of times they've been checked out, you would need to use the acquisitions universe and the circulation events universe. To get a list of current holds on items with missing, claimed returned, or claimed never had status, you could use the circulation hold request universe and the circulation item status universe. After you have watched this video, you should be able to merge data from two different universes to create a report. This includes selecting the appropriate universes and identifying a dimension common to both universes that will be used for merging, such as barcode or OCLC number, as well as merging data objects and using variables to include additional dimensions from the second universe in the report. In this video, we assume that you know how to create a single universe report and that you've determined that an existing standard or predefined report or a custom single universe report does not provide the data you need, and that you know how to save and export reports. If you need a refresher on any of these topics, you may want to consult the documentation and training available at help.oclc.org. To demonstrate how to create a multiple universe report, I'll use this example. Suppose I want to report listing the replacement costs for items that have a current status of lost, missing, claimed returned, or claimed never had. This is an example of what a finished report might look like. Before creating a multiple universe report, you should determine whether there is an existing standard report that meets your needs. Consult available standard reports and help. You might also want to see if a report template that meets your needs has been created by a community member. You can do this by going to Classic Launchpad, then under Folders, opening 3.0 Community Templates or 3.1 Global Templates. These are report templates created by and shared among WMS libraries. For more information, see Shared Report Templates and Help. To determine which universes you want to use to create your report, you can consult universe descriptions in Help. You may also find it useful to consult the extensive documentation of report objects in the Help. Here are the basic steps in creating a multiple universe report. In a few moments, I'll demonstrate these steps with examples. The steps to create a report from the first universe are the same ones you would do if you were creating a single universe report. Select the universe, select result objects, in other words, the data elements that you want in the report, select query filters, which are the criteria to select data for the report, such as dates. Optionally, refresh the data preview and rename the query, then run the query. The next steps are to create a query for the second universe. To do this, you click Edit, then Add Query, then select the second universe. Then select Result Objects, including the dimension you will use as a match point between universes, select Query Filters, and optionally refresh the data preview and rename the query. Then click Run All Queries, which runs the queries for both universes, and merge the data, using the common dimension that you determined earlier. The final step is to add objects to the report by creating variables. Then of course you can format or sort the report and save or export as needed. Now we'll demonstrate these steps with examples. To launch Report Designer, on the Analytics tab, click Reports, and then Classic Launchpad. A new tab or window will open. When the list of folders displays, click the Home button in the upper left. On the BI Launchpad screen, scroll to the bottom and click Web Intelligence. Click Universe, then OK. I've determined that the result objects I need in my report are in the Circulation Item Status universe and the LHR item detail universe, I'm going to start with the circulation item status universe. By consulting help, I've determined that the item barcode dimension is in both universes, and this is the dimension I will use as the match point between the universes. So I'll expand the item folder and double-click item barcode to add it to result objects. I'll also add item title. I could add other dimensions from the item folder, but this is enough for this example. I also want the current status, such as lost or claimed returned, in the report. So I'll expand item status detail and double-click item status current status. I'm only interested in specific statuses, so I'll also add item status current status to query filters. I'll click the Define Filter Type button and select Values from List. I'll select the specific statuses I'm interested in: claimed and never had, claimed returned, lost, and missing. Then click OK. Previewing the data is optional, but it can be very useful to be sure I've selected the result objects in query filters that will give me the data I want. If the data preview panel is not displaying, in the toolbar at the top of the query panel, click the Show Hide Data Preview Panel button. Then click Refresh. I'll scroll through the preview. The preview looks good. Renaming the query is optional, but can be very useful. To do this, in the upper left of the query panel, I'll click the arrow next to Query 1 and select Rename. Then I'll type a new name and click OK. Now I'll run the first query by clicking Run. Now I'm ready to start building the query from the second universe. To get started, in the toolbar at the top, under Query, I'll click the Edit button. In the Query panel, I'll select the Add Query button. I'll click Universe, and then OK, and I'll select the second universe, in this example LHR item detail, and click OK. I'm planning to use item barcode as the match point or common dimension between the universes, so I need to add that to the second query. So I'll expand LHR item detail and double-click LHR item barcode. Next, I'll add an object that is only in this universe, the LHR item cost. I don't want the cost for every item in my library, but only for the barcode selected by the first query. So I'll add LHR item barcode to query filters. I'll click the Define Filter Type button and select Result from another query. In the Available Objects panel under Circ Item Status, which is what I renamed the first query, I'll select Item Barcode and click OK. Previewing the data is optional but useful, so I'll click Refresh. The preview looks good. I want to rename this query, so I'll click the arrow next to Query 2 and select Rename and type a new name. And then click OK. Next, I'll click the arrow on the Run button, then select Run All Queries to run both of the queries. In this Add Query dialog, I'll select Include the result objects in the document without generating a table, and then click OK. The next step is to merge the data. Here are the steps to do this. If the main side panel is not displaying, click the Show Main Panel button that looks like a clipboard. Next, click the common data point that you want to merge on from your first query. For this example, I'll expand Circ Item Status and click Item Barcode. Then I'll expand LHR Item Detail, hold down the Control key on the keyboard, and click the common data point from the second query. For this example, it's LHR item barcode. You'll notice both are now selected. Next to your second common data point, click the More Options button that looks like 3 dots. From the pop-up menu that displays, click Merge. A new section called Merge Dimensions appears. In this example, it lists item barcode. The merge step is now complete, but if you want to verify, you can expand the merge dimension to see that it contains the common data points from the 2 queries. The next step is to add objects from the second query to the report. In this case, it's LHR item cost. Notice that if I try to drag LHR item cost to the report, I get an error message that data objects are not compatible. Web Intelligence has a rule that only objects from a single universe can be displayed in one table together. To solve this problem, create a detailed variable and associate it to your desired merge dimension. In other words, the match point you set up between the universes. To do this, click the Add a New Variable button. In the Create Variable dialog, enter a name. The name you enter cannot be exactly the same as an existing object. From the Qualification menu, select Detail. Click the 3 dots to the right of Select a Dimension. Under Merge Dimensions, select the dimension you used as the match point between the universes, then click OK. In this example, it's item barcode. It's important to select from merge dimensions, not from the individual queries. In the Objects panel of the Create Variable dialog, double-click the report object you want to add to the report. In this example, I expand LHR item detail and double-click LHR item cost. Then click OK. The last step is to add the variable I just created to the report. In the Available Objects panel on the right, under Variables, I can drag the object, in this example cost, to the report. After doing some formatting, the report looks like this. I can now save the report to run it again later, or export the report, for example in PDF or Excel format. Look for other videos about saving and exporting reports. If you have questions about WorldShare Report Designer, please visit help.oclc.org for documentation, training, and contact information for OCLC support in your region.